The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called the Third Age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose in the mountains of mist. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel of time, but it was a beginning. 4.4 million words, 11,900 pages, 2,787 distinct named characters, 147 unique POVs, 15 books, one epic journey. I've always seen myself as a reader and loved books since the moment I could comprehend what they were, but at some point in my 20s, I just stopped. I became more of a casual reader, only averaging maybe 1 or 2 books per year, and I think this is natural with time. We fall in and out of love with our hobbies, our time becomes more restricted, more responsibilities creep in, and our preferences change, even discovering new passions as we get older. But over the last couple of years, I have been determined to read more and get back into reading in a big way and be more intentional with my time. My favourite genre has always been fantasy, and I have felt like I've missed out on so many great books over the years when I stopped being an avid reader. So I was super keen to jump back into some magical worlds. Most people, when they start reading again after a big break or even start their reading journey for a first time, they usually do the smart thing and start small. Maybe a standalone or a smaller trilogy, ease into it a bit. But not me. I decided instead to dive headfirst into a 15-book fantasy epic. And it did not disappoint. So in 2024, I picked up The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan and officially started my Wheel of Time journey. From the very first page of The Eye of the World to the very last of A Memory of Light, I was enthralled in the vast world Robert Jordan had masterfully created. From the various nations and cultures to the politics and raging wars, and of course his magic system, the One Power. I loved the intricacies and the differences between the male and female versions of the One Power being Sadine and Sidar, to the concept of Tavarine and exploring the world of dreams. Finally, the Wheel of Time itself, the concept of being reborn over and over again. It creates such a rich tapestry full of history and lore to sink your teeth into and become fully immersed in this expansive universe. So for anyone unfamiliar with this series, it's inspired by classic fantasy, but many would consider it the birth of modern fantasy in many ways. And at its core, it is the ultimate battle between good and evil. But nothing is black and white in this world, as Jordan infuses shades of grey into all of his characters, with exception to maybe the Dark One himself, who is just pure evil. But we get to learn and understand each individual's motivations throughout the various points of view over the course of the series. But essentially, the plot boils down to the prophesized Dragon Reborn must battle the Dark One to stop him from destroying and remaking the world in his own image, breaking the Wheel of Time, and essentially, in doing so, ending the world. To prevent this, our heroes must face off and also defeat his dark forces in the Forsaken, Midril, Trollocs, and Dark Friends. I think what makes this series so special is not only the insane depth of the world building, but also its characters. Jordan has a way of writing engaging heroes and villains, and the series has over 2,000 named characters to keep track of, and of that, 147 unique points of view to read from. But our core group of characters that we meet at the start of The Eye of the World in the small village of the Two Rivers being Randall IV, Mat Cawthorn, Perrin Ibarra, Neve Elmira, and Egwene Elvira, each develop and grow throughout the series, going on their own unique journeys and adventures, and I went through various stages of loving and hating each of them before the end. And I think that's what makes Jordan's characterization so good, is he finds a way to surprise you. Characters at the start you may have loved, you turn out to find really annoying, or ones you thought you were going to hate, you end up loving. And he also just has such amazing character moments where you'll be getting so frustrated by their choices, or on the other flip of the coin, cheering them on. I enjoyed each and every book on its own merits. I didn't really experience what many on BookTube would call the slog that many confess to experiencing when reading this series for the first time. If anything, my pace actually picked up during books 8 to 10, which is classified as that slog area. And the only time I actually had to take a break mid-book was during The Shadow Rising, being book 4. And I think that's because this is the book after the initial trilogy where it all kicks off. Jordan pushes into full gear, and I think I was initially just overwhelmed at the sheer amount of world building and lore you had to wrap your head around in this particular book. But once I got over that hurdle, I was fully invested and locked in for the rest of the series. But I just finished A Memory of Light last week, and I took my sweet, sweet time. I probably could have finished this weeks ago, but I didn't want to rush it. But also, I was kind of scared to finish it. I wasn't sure how I would feel. Would I be satisfied? Or would I just feel empty after obsessing over these books that have utterly consumed the last 2 years of my life? But when I finally did reach the last page of this epic tale, I can honestly say that I was truly content. And I took a moment to appreciate closing this final chapter. In my opinion, it was the perfect ending, wrapping up all the major threads to this adventure in a satisfying conclusion, and that's more than I could have ever asked for. This week, I also just finished New Spring, being the prequel, and it was a really nice palate cleanser and a rewarding way to finish off this whole journey. A bit of a full circle moment, if you will, as we delve deeper into Moiraine and Lan's origin and past, two characters that I wish we did get more of in the main series. So that was a nice way to spend more time with these beloved characters and also see the foundations of what was to come, the events that led to them meeting and starting their quest to find and guide the Dragon Reborn. So I definitely recommend reading this after you finish the main series, because there's also a lot of little nods that you may not appreciate if you read this first. But overall, I cannot recommend Wheel of Time enough. This is a must-read fantasy epic, and I think it will have a lasting impact on me, and that is the sign of a truly special series. I didn't know what to expect when I first picked up The Eye of the World, but I am thankful I did, because this has been an incredible journey over the last 2 years, and the moment I finished, I just wanted to reread it. I imagine on the second read-through, it gets even better, discovering new details and seeing foreshadowing you might have missed the first time round. And I still feel like there is so much more for me to learn and uncover about this world. So I will 100% be returning one day to experience it all again. But you can only read a book for the first time once. So I am glad that I took my time and enjoyed every single moment, falling in completely in love with Jordan's captivating characters and incredible world. It reignited my passion for fantasy, stoking that long-forgotten flame, and reminding me why I fell in love with books in the first place, capturing my heart and, more importantly, my imagination. So, The question is, what am I going to read next? Well, I have no idea, but I am really excited to continue this new phase of my reading journey, immerse myself in new worlds and stories, maybe even branch out into genres I haven't experienced before, and fall in love with books all over again. And I have the Wheel of Time to thank for that.